Excellent. So today we're going to talk about pushing your students, and I chose this picture, like having the relaxed position, and because it's all about having this approach in the classroom. That's one of my favorite, by the way, is like when students work hard, having a proper workout, and you as the teacher, you are more relaxed, you work smart, which means that during the lesson you're having coffee. So this talk is all about how to involve students as much as possible into the lesson. It doesn't matter what part of the lesson is, so that they actually work and you relax and drink coffee. This is a metaphor, but I've seen people quoting me, like saying, Liashko said we need to drink coffee during the lesson. So it's a pause for me, relaxation, I sit down and drink coffee. Yes, it's possible, but basically this metaphor works for like you shut up, and your students speak. So that's basically it. And a little bit more about myself personally. Okay, so as I mentioned, I've been working as a teacher for more than 20 years, and I love fun. I love learning that is memorable, but at the same time, every single lesson should be something new for the students. They should learn something. This could be words, this could be grammar, this could be the skill development, the new skill that they can apply in their real life. Not necessarily connected with English learning only. This could be ideas that are connected with like general learning, or probably applied to different languages learning as well. So sometimes it's more like soft skills, like something important for their future life outside the classroom, outside school. And as I mentioned, I love drinking coffee, and I drink it everywhere. And sometimes I even drink it during the night. I don't have any problems or any issues with sleeping. So coffee at 10 o'clock in the evening is fine. So whenever I want to have a sip, I want to have it. And this moment, I don't want to be distracted. So that's why it means if I want to have a sip of coffee during the lesson, just a sip, I need to give a task for my students so that they don't look at me. It's like, and waiting why I'm doing this sip. I just wanted to be the private part of my life. So that's why giving a task to them before I have a sip, it's a good idea. Then the world is changing very fast, and this means that we as teachers need to be flexible, as much flexible as possible, like GPS navigators. And that's one of my favorite metaphors as well. We as educators, we as teachers, we are GPS navigators, guys, these days in the 21st century. So basically we are guiding our students into their goals. And in this way, we know all possible routes. So we work like ways, like Google Maps, like any other GPS navigators. So basically, when the students, they have a request, when they have their own needs, we are already building that route to that destination. And then on the way, we are helping them as like sitting at the passenger seat and telling them, turn left, turn right, make a U-turn, but we are not driving instead of them. So we are supportive, we are not patronizing, and we're showing them the way, but they are doing their own way. That's very important to remember. So basically, GPS navigator, your smartphone is not going to drive instead of you, okay? I'm not talking about these smart cars these days, but keeping this robot in mind is also impossible. So we are now facing this era when we as teachers need to compete not with each other, but with technology. And this means that our lessons should be probably more connected with real life by emotion, by practical sides, by memorable learning, because we are no longer source of knowledge for our students, okay? So they can easily ask ChatGPT, what's the difference between the second and the third conditional? And they get the proper answer. And the AI can give them feedback on their performance, yeah, instant feedback, while we need to have some time in order to check their essays, grammar, activities, so on and so forth. So basically, it means that we have this twist. These days in the classroom, we have the transformation, and keeping all these things in mind, I came up with this talk, like pushing your students. Push stands for like my, again, approaches, techniques that I use in the classroom, and we'll have a look at them during this talk. So just remember, yeah, just decided to put it on a separate slide because this is so much important. And talking about marketing, yeah, again, it's very important for us as educators. Do not sell everything in one single drive. Have a long life relationship with your students, okay? Help them to develop from different sides and offer them different routes, okay? And this also contributes to this word combination, GPS navigator, yeah? I know everything. I can help you with this, and we can go anywhere together with you. So it's fine. Again, this quotation by Steve Jobs inspired me to pay attention to teachers these days. It's like everything starts with the why in the lesson. Oh, basically in life as well. Why? Why are we doing this talk? Why are we going to that conference? Why am I going to IETFL UK? Why am I having this lesson with the students? Why am I choosing this particular activity in this particular part of the lesson? This is extremely important, okay? So planning your lesson, starting backwards, starting with the final goal. I want my students to speak about that. And then you go back. It's like, before that, what do I need to revise with my students? Do they need grammar support? Do they need ideas? Do they need vocabulary? Do they need functions? Again, it helped me build up on the lesson during the lesson, and then I move backwards again, closer to the lead-in, okay? Because if you start with the lead-in, okay, I'm going to start with this fabulous activity. I'm going to start with the song, for example. That's amazing, but that song could lead you into different positions, yeah? Remember, GPS navigator starts with the destination. Where are you going? That's the most important thing. So here we go. Once I ask teachers, when I observe lessons, I ask them, what problems do you have, yeah, in your lessons? And this is what my teachers say. This is what I've heard. So if you had something similar, you can put plus in the chat and we'll see whether we are on the same page or different. Students just say one word answering questions like, yes. Do you like bananas? Yes. Why do you like bananas? Because. So like that. Or when students asked to create a text or a dialogue, they simply saying, I'm not a creative person. I cannot create anything, okay? So have you ever had any problems like that in the lesson? Give me a plus or a minus. Uh-huh. Okay, yay, cool. I see that we're on the same page. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, students don't check answers. This is probably one of the most popular one because usually what we do in the online classes, we just put them on the screen, or offline classes, we put them on the board and you tell them, please check the answers with the board. And students with their face down say, yeah, teacher, all correct. That's so much fun because they didn't even look. They didn't even look. So how they were supposed to check those answers? And they're constantly distracted by their phones, by their peers in the classroom. So I'm gonna help you basically face this problem, and those pushing techniques are addressing these questions in the classroom. Yeah, these problems, sorry, in the classroom. So let's start. Yeah. Pushing. And yeah, one more important thing. I love quotations. Yeah, talking about this guy is one of my favorites. He's genius. Okay, Benjamin Franklin later on repeated that quotation. Tell me and I forget. Unfortunately, we are no longer auditory learners these days. We're all visuals. Show me and I remember. Put a visual on the slide or on the board in order to help learners remember things better. Yeah, so involve them, ask questions, listen from them, and they will understand. So that's basically it. When we start with P, sometimes teachers tell me the words like P stands for plate. Okay, yes, possible. P stands for personalizing. Yes, possible. But mine is different. Mine is prove it. This is what I usually use in the classroom. That's one of my favorite, and I use it everywhere and during the workshops as well. So how do I do that? For example, I have a picture and I ask questions about this picture. Yeah, you probably know that Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists, and that's my favorite picture. This is my favorite painting of him, Starry Night. So if I ask students questions like yes, no questions. Is the weather windy? They look at the picture and they tell me, yes. Remember, one answer. I say, prove it. Here we go. Once I ask them to prove it, they are pushed to give me a longer utterance, okay? The longer response. So they say, because I see this and that, I see these, oops, sorry, I see this curves, okay, in the skies. I see the spots, so probably the weather is windy. Other students may say, no, it's not windy because blah, 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 because they have already heard this word, prove it, okay? Then I ask, is the weather cloudy? And again, they say, no. Say, prove it. Always prove it. So basically, this idea came up to me when I heard many times the answer to the question, why? Just because. Okay, so it's like, do you like bananas? Yes. Why? Because I like bananas. So I was thinking like, how to change that? How to ask question, or what to say to my students. So they basically forced, okay, to produce the longer utterance. And here we go. Let's prove it. I said, I think no. So prove that you are right. And basically questioning their students. That's a very good idea. And this is where we go further. Have a look at this short paragraph. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to read it. A good teacher is passionate. Okay. Now, think about these three statements. 1, 2, 3. Are they true or false? You can just remember them, okay? Or you can write in the chat, or you can write on a piece of paper, okay? Number 1, 2, 3. You can write, for example, I think that all of them are true, so you can write TTT. Yes, 3 T's. This means true, 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 true. Or you can write true, false, false, okay? Remember the answers? So this is what happens in the classroom. I give my students a text. I give them comprehension checking statements here, or task. And then I show them the answer. Here we go. Do you have the same or different? Put a plus or a minus in the chat. Do you have the same answers? Anna is no. Okay. Stacia, no, different. Oh, really? Svetlana has got the same. Okay. Students usually ask like, yes, automatically. My students always ask me, Natalia, we don't have the numbers next to the words, because they know that I can play with the answers. And if you have a look, the numbers are different. So I put them in the wrong order. So basically, if you have false, true, true, because a good teacher is passionate, not great teacher is passionate. Okay, here we play with the word good and great. So basically here I'm trying to show you that having this small thing, like having a mistake in your answers, or putting the answers in the wrong way, like upside down or mixing two numbers, in this case, your students are going to check actively. Okay, so don't only ask them to prove their answer, but also play with it a little bit. Okay, so treat the answers, and when you place your answers for next time, they usually ask, are the answers correct? I don't know, check. And here we go, bingo, this is what I want them to do. Let's move on. We have you for using it, and it's all about applying the knowledge. So again, I show this slide was used for IATEFL in particular, just to remind people all over the world coming to my session that this is what we're having in Ukraine these days. So imagine that the building has been destroyed and the government wants to help, and we have huge number of bricks, like tons of bricks, and that's actually too much to rebuild the house. So what can we do with the brick? What can we do with a brick in the classroom? How to sell a brick somewhere? Okay, so probably it's more difficult these days to sell the bricks we have because we have them everywhere. How can we use it? Here we go. It looks like it's very simple idea, just a brick, but students are pushed a little bit further. They switch on their critical thinking and they start thinking creatively as well, out of the box. Saying suggestions like, we can kill Rusnya with the brick. I say, yes, possible. We can use it for barbecue, okay, and put the sticks on the bricks, have this shashliki. Yeah, we can also use it in order to let the door be open, okay? So to stop the door and other things. We can also use it in the classroom. Wow, we can write on the brick, okay? This idea is not mine. This idea was shared by a lovely colleague of mine, Chris Rowland. He's now based in Spain, and he's a very famous author working with teenagers and kids. Some of his ideas are really, really strange, like using a brick, for example. I didn't try using a brick for writing lesson, but we had some writing activities on the Lego blocks, on the eggs, on the foil paper, on napkins, and that was so much fun. That was amazing. The students were like, why? What? I was like, imagine that you're in the restaurant and you're having a very important meeting and you have fabulous ideas, okay, that just struck your mind. So what can you use? You don't have a paper, but you have a napkin. So you write the ideas on a napkin, okay? You need to practice that. And this is what we've done. With my young learners, I used this idea of a potato lesson. That was, again, the idea taken from Chris, and I developed it further into a lovely lesson that's like universal language lesson for using vocabulary and grammar in the classroom and pushing the students to speak and write, okay, using real potato. If you're interested, you can find the materials on my website. So yeah, using it is really, really important. Applying the knowledge, you're looking around what you have and how you can use it in your life. It's nice. Then we slowly go to the letter S, okay? Probably speak, probably say, but my version is shape it. This is particularly used with creativity tasks, with writing tools. For example, recently we had a lesson on chocolate, and we're tasting the chocolate in the classroom, and students were writing their reviews. Once they're ready with the review, they use 1+1 approach. So basically, one thing I like and one thing you can improve, yeah? So that's why if I tell my students, write, create a piece of text, it's very difficult for them to create a solid text, because they simply tell, I told you that day, I'm not a creative person. I said, okay, but once I give them the text and I ask them to shape it, to improve it, it's very easy task for them. They quickly switch on and they start sharing ideas and putting them together, extending the sentences, making them bigger. So it's very, very good to ask them, instead of creating, shaping it, improving it. It's also a good idea. And this is connected with writing. Let me show you what you can do with speaking, because it's not only writing, sorry, that's true. It's not only writing, that's productive skill, it's also speaking. So yeah, that's my creative writing chocolate lesson. And sabotaging speaking is one more thing that can push your students to speak. Here we go. This time is much better. You see, I'm telling you the truth. Shaping it and sabotaging, these are probably one of most important techniques in the lesson. So let's have a look. So I have a picture, or this can be just a situation, and students work in pairs, A's and B's. A's have a task to use these verbs while describing a situation. There should be a story, okay? So they are simply telling the story. B's, at this time, they listen to the story and count how many verbs were used. If you tell shine, if you use shine 2-3 times, each time you count how many times the verb was used, okay? Past forms, continuous forms, all counted, okay? So no problem with that. Very easy. A's tells a story, B's listen. And then they have 1 minute to tell the story. This is approximately for B1 level. If you have lower level, probably 30 seconds, okay? Different verbs, easier task. For higher level, probably 1.5 minutes. And then I would probably add, apart from verbs, I would probably add more adverbs as well, and maybe some adjectives. Maybe I'd add my target language of the lesson to this task. It's amazing for exam preparation, practicing this speaking. What happens next? After they finish, we basically count how many words were used, who is the winner. And then they swap. But once they swap, the task is slightly different. Their expectation is that they will just practice the same, but it won't be the same. Remember sabotaging. So now B's are telling the story, but A's, apart from counting, they need to sabotage B's, okay? Interrupt, ask questions, or even tell their own stories. And here you can go further starting from this point. You can learn how to interrupt politely, how to pause for B, so that there is an opportunity for interlocutor to give the back channeling device, like, I got what you mean, like this thing. So probably jump in and tell your own stories. It's amazing. So basically shape it for writing, sabotaging for speaking. And finally, H. H stands for handcrafting. Oh my God. Even adults love using things in their heads. We are all little kids. Kids are absolutely big fans of everything that could be done in the classroom with their fingers. Adults also love it. So basically having something like a picture, a design, using those Lego blocks to build up, I don't know, a person, that's a good idea. So STEAM lessons are also, important, and clear lessons important, because these creativity tasks, when you design things, we don't do these things any longer when we are adults. But it is important because here, at the tip of the fingers, we have important senses. And once we start doing something using our hands, the process becomes more creative. So having like a combination of English and art, having a combination of like cooking and English, yeah, it's important. And combination of cooking, art and English, like cooking a Van Gogh sandwich. Oh, wow, wonderful, wonderful. And adults and teenagers are usually leaving the classroom with perfect memories that the language is amazing. AI will never give you an idea like that. And this is the picture of me and my friend Ilona from Slovakia. She visited my talk at IETF Brighton last year, where I was presenting STEAM activities and Van Gogh in particular. And this year, she has seen me on the program, and she bought the project from her student that she made in her classroom. And I told her, you could have done just a picture, you know, and just bring it to me. And she wanted to show that all these things are actually feely things, that you can touch it. And in this spot, you have real hair, real hair. So she wanted to show me this beautiful project. You see, students are very inspired. Unfortunately, she could not present it to me because she promised to return it back to the owner, because the owner was very, very proud of that project. So personalizing all these pushing techniques, it's important. And here my message is that you might love these ideas, okay? Or you might think that they might work in my classroom, but with these and these scenarios. So feel free to personalize them, feel free to adapt them. I'm very open to any feedback that you have, okay? But what I want to say is mind the gap between your dreams and reality, okay? So if you just bring this idea on Monday to your classroom, or probably tomorrow, because we still have Friday as a working day, things might not work immediately like that, okay? They just need time, like progressing. And later on, you might find that here we go, I've achieved my aim, my goal. But keep dreaming, yeah? Keep calm and dream big. Dreams come true. And here I want to finish with the important thing, that why I'm here at this Smart Brunch. It's not only because I'm a superstar, as Allah said, but also because I am sponsoring one teacher for the next conference coming to IETF UK in Brighton next year. How to apply and how to become that lucky winner who will go together with me to the UK. Basically, I have the course for the speakers, which is called Pro Speaker. Yeah, it's how to become a professional speaker. And there, during the course, we learn how to become a successful presenter, and all the graduates of the course, they are having a post-course writing task. This is an essay, 1,000 words, and you write the essay, and according to these results, I choose the winner and we go together to the conference. When I say I'm sponsoring the conference, I mean that I'm sponsoring the fee and the year membership, because it's the most expensive part. Let's put it like this. You can stay together with your friends, Ukrainians, that you don't need to pay for accommodation. You can share accommodation. This can be very cheap. Traveling can be just with the rucksack, yeah? So you don't need to buy luggage for the airplane trip. But you cannot change the fee of the conference and the membership of IETF. That's why that's the most expensive part. And this is what I cover from my side. So if you're interested, please go to my website, natalialiashko.com. There is information about the course, and having the promo code BRUNCH that works till the beginning of June, okay, when the course starts. It's the 2nd of June, the first day of the course. There are different options there, video participation or live participation. All the information you can find on my website, but use the promo code in order to save some money for you. Okay, so that's it from me. I tried to be very fast, okay? And the very last thing, if we have any question, I think we do have, okay? I also have a Telegram channel. So if you want, I share a lot of ideas there for free. Please scan the code now and join my Telegram channel. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, one from anonymous attendee. Yes. Hello. What if when sabotaging two groups will start to argue because of interrupting?
It's not two groups, it's pairs. Students work in pairs, okay? It's not two groups, two students working together. And usually they're messing up the stories, but the idea is just to have fun. And because when students just tell the story, okay, just one story, and the other one is listening, it looks like the task is no longer meaningful. Yeah, right. And just it's a monologue, boom, 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 monotonous, very quiet, let's put it like that. But once you have this interaction and teenagers are put into that rebellious mode to sabotage, they love it. The classroom becomes very loud. Everyone is arguing, laughing, and they start arguing sometimes. And here I can have like a third round. Here we go. Bees, you're not sabotaging, you're listening carefully and noting down the ideas. Play with it. Why not? But having this little thing is like pushing a little bit and twisting their classroom dynamic is important.
Thank you. There is another question about implementing this method in online environment.
Yes. All of them work online apart from handcrafting. Handcrafting could be a little bit more challenging in terms of you need to ask your students to prepare the materials in advance. So basically, this is what I say to my students. For the next classroom, you need a piece of paper and markers. We need 3 colors, blue, yellow, and red. And once they start creating that projects, they are pushed to switch on the cameras in order to show their result into the camera to their peers. Proving, yes, playing, yes, easily sabotaging, yes, shaping, yes, they read each other and they leave the comments. Yeah, they can use Google Docs, they can use slides, they can use Jamboards. What's there? Oh my God, Oh my God.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
Padlet,
I forgot.
maybe.
Again?
Padlet.
Padlet, yeah.
Padlet.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Padlet, yeah.
And what was the level of the student you showed the work?
That was 11th grader, B2 level. That was not ideal writing, yeah. And I didn't focus again. Once this idea of like one idea that I like and one idea that can be improved, it's not about spelling or grammar, because students are not experts and they can actually correct the mistake, like correct the right answer and make it a wrong one. That's why we don't touch grammar and vocabulary. We look at the ideas.
Thank you. Yes, we need to finish with your session. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, usually very inspiring. Yeah.
I'm there to help. Just find me on any social medias. I'm very open to sharing, communication. Please do. I'll be happy.
And it's very generous of you to share. So you're planning to go to next TOEFL, yes, with your.
Of course, yeah. You know why? Of course. I strongly believe that TOEFL UK is the best place to learn new trends, new ideas, because people that go there, since it's not very cheap, they are very, very qualified. We have a bunch of celebrities delivering talks, so you have an opportunity to speak you know, just like you, Allah, with Underhill, with Hugh Della, with Leo Sullivan, with like Jeremy Hammer, yeah, you have this opportunity to have a meaningful conversation. And then we have a second bunch of people. These are just teachers, yeah, who are very, very creative. And yes, you need to be, as you mentioned, Allah, yesterday, you need to be very careful in terms of what sessions to choose. So you get ready for the conference way in advance, studying the program, highlighting where I want to go. Because, yeah, my was a mess. Yeah, this time it was much better.
Yeah, I see. Thank you so much.
Thank you.